Tu Duc Tomb, also known as Khiem Lang, is one of the must-see destinations when traveling to Hue. Nestled in a small valley on the outskirts of the city, this mausoleum is the resting place of King Tu Duc and is a masterpiece of Vietnamese architectural art. Built from 1864 and completed in 1867, Tu Duc Tomb bears the mark of royal architecture. The majestic Tam Quan Gate, the poetic Luu Khiem Lake, the solemn shrine, all create a sacred and harmonious space. Each architectural detail, each relief has a profound meaning, reflecting the talent of the artisans of the Nguyen Dynasty. Tu Duc Tomb is not only the resting place of King Tu Duc, but also a gathering place for many tombs of other royal family members such as Thien Anh Hoang Hau tomb, Khiem Lang. Thien Anh Hoang Hau was the first wife of King Tu Duc. Her tomb is located on the left of Khiem Lang, Tu Duc Tomb. Across Luu Khiem Lake, King Khien Phuc Tomb, Boi Lang. King Khien Phuc was the adopted son of King Tu Duc. His tomb is located on the left of Khiem Lang. Khien Phuc Tomb is more modest in scale than the other tombs in the complex. King Tu Duc, born in 1829, died in 1883, real name Nguyen Phuc Hong Enem, was the fourth and longest reigning king of the Nguyen Dynasty, 36 years. From 1847 to 1883, he was known as a talented and versatile king, leaving many profound marks in Vietnamese history. When visiting Tu Duc Tomb, visitors not only admire the unique architecture of the tomb, but also have the opportunity to learn about the history and culture of the Nguyen Dynasty and the stories of family love in the royal family. Tu Duc Tomb is a massive and sophisticated architectural complex, one of the most attractive destinations when traveling to Hue. With its unique architecture, in harmony with nature, Tu Duc Tomb is recognized by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage. Tu Duc Tomb is divided into two main areas, the palace area and the tomb area. With nearly 50 large and small works, each construction has its own meaning and contributes to the unique beauty of this mausoleum. Khiem Duong is an important part of the Tu Duc Tomb complex, also known as Khiem Lang, located in Hue. This is a shrine to the concubines of King Tu Duc and his predecessors. Past Luu Khiem Gate and the Sun Then Temple is the shrine area. Following the softly curving Bat Trang brick path is Khiem Duong. This area has a narrow campus, which has deteriorated over time and has now been restored and renovated to be spacious. The architecture of Khiem Duong is imbued with traditional Vietnamese style, with sophisticated carvings and harmonious layouts. This place is not only an architectural work but also a part of Vietnamese history and culture, marking a golden age of the Nguyen Dynasty. The worship area in Tu Duc Tomb, where spirituality and art meet. Tu Duc Tomb, also known as Khiem Lang, is one of the most massive and magnificent architectural works of the Nguyen Dynasty kings. Located deep in the heart of a cool pine forest, this mausoleum is not only the resting place of the talented king but also a unique museum of architectural art. In particular, the worship area in Tu Duc Tomb is a place that gathers profound spiritual and cultural values, unique architecture and spiritual significance. The worship area in Tu Duc Tomb is a harmonious architectural complex, with works built in the traditional East Asian architectural style. Each work has its own meaning, showing respect for the king and members of the royal family. Hoa Khiem Palace, This is the main work of the worship area, where the tablets of King Tu Duc and the Queen are worshipped. The architecture of Hoa Khiem Palace is extremely majestic and magnificent, with a system of columns, rafters, and trusses that are intricately carved. Luu Khiem Palace, located behind Hoa Khiem Palace. This is where the king used to rest and was later used to worship the spirit of Queen Mother Tu Duc. Chi Khiem Duong, a place to worship the wives of King Tu Duc. Phap Khiem Vu, Le Khiem Vu, for civil and military mandarins who served the king. Other works, around Hoa Khiem Palace. There are many other auxiliary works such as Min Khiem Duong Theatre, Luu Khiem Lake, Tin Khiem Island. Each work has its own beauty and deep spiritual meaning. Spiritual meaning. The worship area in Tu Duc Tomb is not only a place to worship ancestors but also a place to express the beliefs and concepts of life of the ancient Vietnamese people. Sacrificial ceremonies are held here regularly, to show respect and pray for peace and prosperity. Historical and cultural value. The worship area in Tu Duc Tomb is a vivid demonstration of the development of Vietnamese architecture and sculpture during the Nguyen Dynasty. The patterns and decorative motifs on the architectural works all bear the mark of Vietnamese folk art. The worship area in Tu Duc Tomb is one of the attractive destinations for tourists when coming to Hue. This place is not only a valuable historical and cultural relic but also a peaceful spiritual space, helping visitors learn about the traditional culture of the Vietnamese people. the fourth emperor of the Nguyen Dynasty, King Tu Duc, soon chose for himself a final resting place located in a special location surrounded by vast pine forests, islands and small lakes. His mausoleum is a world surrounded by tranquility, nature and harmony in the architectural complex of the ancient capital of Hue. Located on the edge of the ancient capital, Tu Duc Tomb is a special cultural heritage of Vietnam and can be considered the most beautiful and complete tomb of the 7 tombs of the Nguyen Dynasty kings. Tu Duc Tomb is considered one of the 4 most beautiful tombs in the ancient capital, recognized by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage, and is honored to be one of the first historical relics in Vietnam to be included in the 3D Digital Museum within the framework of the Google Arts and Culture project. The poet King Tu Duc, 1848 to 1883, chose for himself a resting place worthy of his position. In accordance with the interests and aspirations of the most learned and romantic man among the Nguyen Dynasty kings. The mausoleum is located in a narrow valley in Duong Xuan Thung village, Siu Chan Commune, now Tui Xuan Ward, Hue City. With 36 years of reign, Tu Duc was the longest reigning king among the 13 kings of the Nguyen Dynasty. His name was Nguyen Phuc Hong Enom, the second son of King Tu Tri. According to the hereditary law of the feudal regime, his elder brother Hong Bao should have been the successor to the throne. However, due to his low talent and arrogant temperament, Hong Bao was deposed from the throne by his father, and Hong Enom was put on the throne to become King Tu Duc, a king. A gentle poet, who loved his people and his country, but was physically weak, had a somewhat weak and pessimistic personality. Being a king in a difficult social context, with foreign invaders attacking from the outside, brothers fighting for the throne within, and the king himself being sick and ill, he had no children. Tu Duc was indeed destined for tragic fate. To escape that harsh life, Tu Duc built this mausoleum as a second palace to relieve his sorrow and prepare for a sudden departure. Because, as the king once said, strong people still worry about unexpected events, let alone the weak. When construction first began, King Tu Duc named the project Van Nuyen Company, but after the Che Voi uprising initiated by the Don Hu Trung brothers, the king changed the name to Khiem Kung, and after the king's death, it was called Khiem Lang. History of formation. When it was first built, the mausoleum was named Van Nuyen Company, but after the Che Voi rebellion, King Tu Duc changed the name to Khiem Kung. After the king passed away, the mausoleum was renamed Khiem Lang. History of formation. When it was first built, the mausoleum was named Van Nuyen Company, but after the Che Voi rebellion, King Tu Duc changed the name to Khiem Kung. After the king passed away, the mausoleum was renamed Khiem Lang. 1864, the mausoleum began construction with the participation of 50,000 soldiers. 1866, the name of Van Nuyen County was changed to Khiem Kung. 1873, Khiem Kung was completed. The place where King Tu Duc's body was placed is the most important construction in Tu Duc Tomb. So the king's mausoleum was built right behind the palace. Moving to Bai Din, you will see 2 rows of civil and military mandarins standing solemnly, and behind is Bai Din. This is where the 20-ton stone stele with the Khiem Kung Kai written by King Tu Duc himself is placed. The entire 4.935-word essay is his autobiography about his life and his merits and crimes before history. He admitted his own guilt. Not being wise in knowing people is my fault. Using people in the wrong place is also my fault. Hundreds of things that I could not do are all my fault. In the essay, he also mentioned his own risks, illnesses and worries when he was alive. Behind Bai Din is Bu Than, built entirely of bricks on Tu Khiem Tri. In the middle is the resting place of the most talented king with a poetic soul and profound knowledge of the Nguyen Dynasty. Through the ups and downs of history, Tu Duc Tomb is still there as the clearest proof of the glorious time of the learned and profound king of the past. Similar to other ancient works in Hue, Tu Duc Tomb is like an ancient painting with a nostalgic aftertaste, but is still strangely charming and attractive. If you have the opportunity to return to the ancient capital on a sunny day, you must definitely visit Tu Duc Tomb. Lang Khiem Tho, located in the grounds of Tu Duc Tomb in Tuy Xuyen Ward, Hue City, is the resting place of Queen Thien Anh Vu Thi Duyen, a woman who had a great influence in the history of the Nguyen Dynasty. Vu Thi Duyen was born in 1828, came from a prestigious family and was recruited to serve Prince Hong Enom, later King Tu Duc, in 1843. With her gentle and studious nature, she was quickly loved by Empress Dowager Tu Du and favored by King Tu Duc, successively holding the titles of Kung Tam, Kun Phi, Tuan Phi, Trung Phi, and Hoang Quai Phi. During the period when the court encountered many changes, she always fulfilled all tasks, but could not avoid times when she displeased the king. Before his death, King Tu Duc issued a will to honor her as Queen Thien Anh. After King Tu Duc's death, despite her refusal many times, she was still honored by the succeeding kings as Queen Mother, then Grand Empress Dowager. She passed away in 1902 and was buried at Khiem Tho Tomb. Khiem Tho Tomb has a unique architecture with 4 floors. The 3 lower floors are a large yard. The top floor is where the tomb is located, showing solemnity and dignity, while at the same time being in harmony with the surrounding landscape. Khiem Tho Tomb is not only a historical relic but also a cultural destination, attracting visitors to learn about the life and merits of Queen Thien Anh, as well as admire the architectural beauty of Nguyen Dynasty tombs. The tomb of King Khiem Phuc, the shortest-lived king of the Nguyen Dynasty. The tomb of King Khiem Phuc, also known as Boi Lang, is a historical site located within the grounds of King Tu Duc's tomb in Hue. This area includes the tomb of King Khiem Phuc, Chap Khiem Palace and other ancillary works. King Khiem Phuc, 1869 to 1884, whose real name was Nguyen Phuc Dang, was the 7th king of the Nguyen Dynasty. He ascended the throne in 1883 and died after only 8 months of reign. At the age of 15, becoming the shortest-lived king of the Nguyen Dynasty, King Tu Duc had no biological children, so he adopted 3 nephews, including Dang. After King Duc Duc and King Heap Hoa were deposed, Dang was put on the throne, taking the reign named Khiem Phuc. The court at that time was ruled by 2 regents, Nguyen Van Tuing and Ton That Tuyet. During the reign of King Khiem Phuc, the country faced many difficulties due to the invasion of French colonialists. The Treaty of Zarphan, 1884, was signed, dividing Vietnam into 3 regions with different governing regimes. In that chaotic context, King Khiem Phuc suddenly passed away. King Khiem Phuc's tomb is located on a hill, which was originally a place for King Tu Duc to rest and sightsee. After King Khiem Phuc passed away, the royal court ordered the construction of a tomb here, Chap Khiem Palace, which was originally a place for King Tu Duc to read books, was converted into a temple to worship King Khiem Phuc. Behind the palace is the foundation of Dai Khiem Lao, an architectural work similar to Min Lao in Min Mang Tomb. King Khiem Phuc's tomb is located modestly in the grounds of Tu Duc Tomb, and is rarely noticed by tourists. However, this is a historical relic with many meanings, associated with the upheavals of the Nguyen Dynasty in the late 19th century.